Welcome to New Broker, the podcast dedicated to providing insights and inspiration for building a new broking business.
Hello and welcome back. It's Annie Kane hosting today's New Broker podcast for you, in which we're talking to the New Broker of the Year 2025, the recently crowned winner of the Australian Broking Award, New Broker, Richard Brown, the mortgage choice broker for Epping, North Epping and Beecroft. Welcome, Richard. How are you going?
Thank you, Annie. That's very kind of you.
I half expected you to wear a New Broker of the Year t-shirt coming in today, because obviously super exciting, a national award, the big one, the big New Broker award that everyone wants to win. And it's so exciting to talk to new brokers about their journey and what they've been up to. Now, how did it feel to get up on stage and win the trophy?
It felt amazing, and I had the best day. I was truly shocked. On the way there, my wife was talking to me. She said, "Are you any chance of winning? Do I need to prepare myself?" And I said, "There's no chance that I'm going to win the award today." It felt really good. And when I got up there, I actually said it feels a little bit embarrassing, and the reason that is because I know the quality of other brokers out there. And I also know I kind of just want all new brokers to feel a little bit of that success. So yeah, it was great. It was a great day. I was very thankful for how gracious everybody was in their support, and they were truly happy for me.
Yeah.
And it was so thank you, and thank you for the day.
No, I didn't do it. It's all your own work. I also don't judge the awards, so that we have a panel of judges that do that, and then they kind of write comments. I actually pulled some of your judges' comments to be like, what did they say? And a lot of them were talking about, firstly, your dedication to financial literacy education. So some of them have been following you on social media. They did their due diligence. They had a look at what you were doing and saying, great to see a new broker teaching people about finance and what the mortgage process is. But they were also saying, really great to see you being quite supportive. And they were saying, you've been supportive to a lot of your clients. The reviews are really good. The testimonials are really good. So yeah, I think really great all-rounder, and fantastic to see you coming top for the New Broker Award. And I think you're totally right. If we could, we'd give an award to everyone, because so many fantastic people in the industry, and the new brokers coming up through the ranks, just so much great work going on. So we love to talk to you guys about what you're up to, and specifically the New Broker of the Year 2025, about what you're doing in your business.
Well,
so let's start off with, I suppose, how you became a broker and how long you've been broking for. What was your kind of, I guess, light bulb moment where you were saying, I'm going to become a broker?
Well, that was probably slowly. So I'm new to industry, so coming up to 2 years. I was in the advertising media industry for over 20 years. So I don't look that old, but yeah, I am. So I was in it for probably close to 23 years.
Wow.
Loved it and had a great career, and established some really good relationships. And a lot of that has actually carried through into my business now. I've been investing in property for over 20 years.
Okay.
I've always been interested in finance, financial markets, personal finance. I'm okay with numbers. And so broking had been in the back of my mind for quite some time. And then a couple of years ago, it got to the point where my kids are a little bit older. They probably don't need or want me around as much. So the time to start a business and to do something brand new, I was 47 at the time. I thought this is the time, and I just didn't want to regret. I didn't want to regret not doing it.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, I would have been devastated in myself if I didn't try. And so a couple of years ago, I decided this was going to be it.
Yeah. So when you actually then started that journey, I'm always curious to see, well, how do you actually do it? So for anyone who may be listening to this, who's thinking about becoming a broker, not yet made the leap, there's a lot of things you've got to decide. Things like, what kind of broker business do I want to run? Do I want to be a franchise broker? Do I want to have my independent office? Do I want to employ 50 people? Do I only want to be the only person in the company? What sort of things did you think of when you actually started down that process? Like, what's your checklist almost?
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you just asked then that I still don't know the answer to.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great things about broking business, is that you can be a sole broker and just work by yourself. You can be a supported sole broker and have a team around you, or you can build a big brokerage and have a number of brokers with you. I think that's one of the the things that actually attracted me to the type of business. So I am currently I'm a sole broker. I do have some support, which we might come to.
Yep.
But one of the biggest decisions early on is choosing the aggregator.
Yep.
And I actually met, so Annie, I want to thank you at this podcast and also Momentum Media for, is it SPI as part of the stable as well. And so even before I became a broker, I would listen to that podcast, and there's been a lot of education that I've got through the Momentum stable that has put me in really good stead. So so that helped me, and then it led me to the New Broker Academy.
Yeah.
And so I actually I went and spoke to all of the aggregators at different times. But I think my first conversation with my aggregator, who is Mortgage Choice, was at the New Broker Academy. So before I'd become a broker. And so there was some specific things that I was after from my aggregator. And I think it's a really important decision because that can set you up for what your business is going to look like in the future. And so Mortgage Choice for me, in terms of the flexibility that it gave me, the credibility in the name was really important. Coming from outside of industry, having the name like Mortgage Choice behind me was really important. So
yeah, and I think that's a really interesting one firstly, thank you. I'm so glad the podcasts were useful and the event was useful. Yep. I swear I didn't pay him to say that. I didn't prime him. That was natural. But I'm really appreciative that the things that we put out there are actually helping people decide what they want to do and providing some value. So it's great to hear. Yep. But I think also, so thinking about what sort of business you want to run and how you're going to attract new clients. Because if you are coming from outside of industry, if you don't have, let's say you were working in the bank, you probably already know quite a lot of people that might want a mortgage. Yeah. But if you were working in media, you might not have ever talked to anyone in media about their mortgage before. So actually having a big brand that you can kind of be like, this is a well-known brand. They've already done all that hard legwork setting up the kind of brand for me. I can plug in. Can save you a lot of time and money, I suppose, as well. Did you decide to go down a franchise route, or are you sort of a Mortgage Choice broker working from home? What does that look like?
So I'm a franchise owner, but I don't have a shop front.
Yeah.
So there was lots of different discussions about how I'd actually start getting into broking, and one of them was to possibly become a loan writer and work for somebody else, which has worked really well for others. I knew at some point I wanted to run my own business, and so I knew it was going to be harder to start by myself, but I also knew in the back of my mind that I wanted to be building something that was my own from the very start. Mm-hmm. And when I listened to new brokers who come from the banking industry and they've been banking for maybe a decade, I always used to think, geez, I'm on the back foot here. Like I'm a long way behind these guys. And I was in terms of policy and the environment. But also, so coming from a different background, media and advertising, I had a whole network of a couple of decades of clients and ex-colleagues who trusted me, knew me already. And so it actually turned out to be a bigger advantage because the guys who have been in banking as well, all their networks are bankers.
Yeah.
who probably don't want, they're sorted for
and they
for
have
their loans.
non-competes.
And there's, so I think no matter what the background the people are coming from, there's an opportunity to leverage into a brokerage. So I work, I've got a home office. I spend a lot of time out with clients. So I'm in the city every week. I'm in North Sydney. A lot of my clients are based around there. But I don't have a shop front. It's most days it's me and my dog.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. And so when you said there about having a lot of people in the network already that obviously trusted you and kind of would probably given you a run and maybe looking at being your first client, but who was your first client?
Yeah. So there was a couple. One of the things I want to be really clear, and I speak to other new brokers, that it took me a while to get paid.
Yeah.
Like it's, you're not going to make a quick. Well, I couldn't see how you can make a quick dollar. Maybe some other people do, but it actually takes quite a while to get paid. I worked it out. I was well over 1,000 hours of work.
Wow. Before
I actually got paid.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of work in the first couple of months, and then there was a bit of a rush. So my first, there was probably 3 loans that settled really quickly, and I almost remember every single loan over the last 12 months anyway. But some of them were really nice. Like one of them was a referral, And it was a young couple. They were renting a house, had a couple of young kids. The landlord was going to sell the house and they had to move out. And they didn't think there was any way that they were going to be able to afford to stay in the house. Anyway, we, through the use of a guarantor and education, we got there, and it was a really nice thing to do. And it was coming from corporate, where I was working a lot of B2B, just the single impact into a family's life, well, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And so they actually, the day, they're outside of Sydney, the day they, the wife, she baked a brownie. She put it in express post and sent it down to my house.
Oh.
It was amazing. And another one that settled very close to them was, it was going to be my first payday, and it was supposed to settle on Friday. The funds from the client weren't put into
the right account.
into the right account. Oh, no. So it went over a weekend, which meant it went over a month, which meant it was another month before I was getting paid.
That's actually a really good tip.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through, for anyone who's just starting out on their journey, what that means?
Yeah. So when we come to settlement, if there's a shortfall in funds, the bank will need to take it from, or the conveyancer will need to take that from an account. So the borrowers need to have an account with some funds or surplus funds that they'll need to complete the purchase.
Yeah.
There were no funds to help complete that purchase. So it'll never ever happen again.
No, I bet now you're always checking on settlement day. You'll be like, have you got the money in the account?
And so my first clients, they came from my corporate network. My corporate network, my sporting network, and my local community.
Sporting network. What does that involve?
A bit of both. So I do a lot of cycling. So I'm heavily involved in a cycling club and
road cycling.
Road cycling. Yep. So, and over the years, I've been involved in a lot of different sporting clubs, and my kids as well. So I've got a really good network through sporting clubs, and so I've been really, really well supported, particularly through cycling. Like as you get older guys like to get in Lycra and get on a road bike.
Yeah.
So which is amazing because it's a network. I've got really good friends who I cycle with who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And if you ever want to get somebody for 2 or 3 hours and talk about mortgages, get on a bike because they can't get away from you.
Yeah, exactly. You've just got to pick up the pace if they start trying to cycle away.
Trying to get away. And they do.
It improves your fitness at the same time. I want to go back a few steps there. So you talked about some of your first clients, the ones that bought the house that their landlord was selling.
Yep.
Being a referral. So
yes.
Who referred them to you?
Yep. So that was somebody from my cycling club. So from the sporting background. Yeah. So I've been super lucky from that way that I've had, even till today, most of my clients are either in my orbit in terms of my networks that I've known, worked with, played sport with, or one step they've been referred from that network. Yeah. Which is amazing because they're all good people. Like my clients are actually amazing. Like I feel very lucky that I'm working with people I like and helping people.
Yeah.
So it's great.
So we talked a little bit about, setting up and you chose Mortgage Choice from having talked to them at the New Broker Academy. Did you have like a checklist of things that you wanted from your aggregator when you first started? Like was marketing, for example, was that important to you? Or you kind of like, I know how to do that because I've worked in media. Like what were the things that were really your top priorities?
Yep. So I knew I wanted a big brand and something with credibility. So that was one thing. Flexibility. So in terms of how I wanted to grow the business and the restrictions around what an aggregator would place on me, that was really important. But also being a new broker, like compliance. Like I wanted to make sure that my clients and me were really well protected and had a lot of really good advice. So Mortgage Choice have an amazing group office and the support that I get there, and it's through marketing. So the marketing campaigns they run, or if I want to do something different, they'll support that and actually help me. They've got the compliance team, obviously. They provide a credit coach. So early days, if there's a scenario that comes up, and you're not sure how to write a particular loan, like you've got the hotline to go in straight into the team to help you through it. Yep. So there was no doubt that having all of those different areas of support for a brand new broker, new to industry, has been super helpful. And also the guys that I met early were great. I mean, the guy Brendan, who you might know, he brought me in, and Brendan Andrews, and then so I met the state manager, so Jason from there, and those guys, I could just tell they wanted to support you, they wanted to help you, and they were genuine people who didn't overpromise. Because one of the things I was very conscious of was that aggregator can tell you whatever they want to tell you up front, but the reality might be really different once you get in. So the support from not only group office, but also a big network of brokers was really important to me as well. So I think there's close to 1,000 brokers in Mortgage Choice.
Yeah. I think it's more than 1,000 now, actually.
Is there?
Yeah.
They are really supportive of each other. And so there's things like where we've got group chats and email groups that if you're not sure of anything, that they'll provide support. I spoke to a lot of brokers in all the aggregators before I actually chose an aggregator as well. So yeah, look, I think it was support, credibility, and the broker network.
Yeah, and the compliance support. You mentioned there about, not necessarily having the background knowledge about things like policy, which might be a bit of a longer learning curve for people who don't have that background already from the lending experience, if they've come from inside the finance industry. How did you get across all of that? Did you just sort of go trial and error? Did you have any sort of systems where you were like, I need to read this, or I need to do this, or talk to these people? Like, how do you actually learn what you need to know?
Yeah, just fast, right? Like it's just there's a lot to learn. There's really good. So we have the idea is you want to speak to as many lenders as possible, as quickly as possible as well. So we do. So at Mortgage Choice, we've got on the couch sessions. So every week or every fortnight, we have a couple of lenders who come and talk about and update their policy. The BDMs will reach out to you, and you'll have good conversations. They'll come and see you. But it's also a lot of reading of policy. And I didn't need to do this because we actually have a document that has all the policy, and it's broken down, whether it's for self-employed or how you analyse commission or whatever it is in policy that you need to find out. I created a spreadsheet and just read a lot of policy and actually typed in myself to give myself a bit of a cheat sheet. But also it just made me go through and learn different aspects of policy. And you also learn as you learn as you go. A lot of the lenders will have drop-in sessions online, so Zoom calls and updates. I implore new brokers. Well, I can't. Like, I don't want to give advice because I certainly don't know everything. But these are the things that help me. That is just go to every single one. Have it. You just want to absorb all the time. You want to have something in your ear, in your eyes. You want to be absorbing all the time. But yeah, policy is the one thing about policy as well is that even if somebody's been broking for 20 years, policy will change.
It changes
from bank to bank.
Yeah.
So it could be a case that somebody who's started in 6 months may know a particular bank better than a broker who's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, of course, because everything depends when you last read the policy or when you last spoke to the BDM. Yeah. And you mentioned there as well about having, a good client base and really making an impact on your clients, because of course buying a house or an investment property, super exciting and really life-changing for a lot of people. Do you focus mostly on first home buyers? Are you focusing on mum and dads? Like, what's your sort of core market?
Yeah. So it's residential. It's residential lending.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably broken down into a third of first home buyers, investors, and then upsizers or downsizers.
Yeah.
I haven't particularly, and I know there's a lot of advice around choosing a really tight niche and marketing and working, and there's a lot of advantages to that. I probably find that my niche is my networks of sports and media.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's first home buyers, which is amazing as well. Like they're probably some of the most joyful clients.
And probably the most painful too, I imagine. They need a lot more help.
Yeah, but that's okay. And last week, so there's a young lady who helped to get her first property recently, and then she just did a renovation, some floors, painting, and it looks amazing. And she invited me over to have a look at it. And it was just, she's done such a good job and she's so proud of it. And so she should be getting into her first property. people ask me, well, my clients will say, I hope I'm not being too much of a pain. And it never is. It never is. And I hope I don't lose. I hope I don't lose
The love
that.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see it happening.
Yeah.
But it is. First home buyers are pretty special.
Yeah. Well, I often ask brokers, whether it's on the New Broker podcast or the Elite Broker podcast, like, what's your favorite thing about being a broker? And nearly, I'd say 95% of people would say it's seeing the happiness that you bring people and helping people on their journey, actually making a difference.
And they're so thankful.
Yeah.
It's a pretty amazing job to do, and a business to run, is that when you can help people, genuinely help them in their lives and their family, and they're so thankful.
Yeah. I want to go back to something else as well that you mentioned earlier, which was about not being paid for a while. And because it's something that I think is so important for new brokers to know, or people coming into the industry to know, is that because you have to spend so long actually setting up the business and finding the clients and then getting the clients to a position where they are ready to transact, and then settlement could be months later.
Yeah.
You don't get paid until settlement. So it could be 6 months before you get
a month after settlement.
Sorry, a month after. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, going through your aggregator. Your aggregate doesn't get paid till settlement, and then obviously you get the next pay run. So a month later. So it can be 6 months until you get your first income, which for a lot of people is so surprising. And I think this is why we try and help on this podcast make sure that people know that, because a lot of people will leave in their first year of broking because they're like, I actually don't have a savings. I need to go and earn some money for my family, for my kids, to pay my own mortgage.
Which is, I totally get that as well. It's and it's a really good point. I think you need to, sorry, you're going to ask a question.
No, I was just going to say, so you said about
excited.
being surprised about that. Did you know about that before you came into the industry? Were you prepared for that?
Yes, I was prepared. But it's also one thing being prepared and then one thing living through it.
Yeah.
So I did a budget. Everything takes longer. Everything takes longer in the process to what you think it will. But I'm obviously a bit older in life than what some others are when they start out when they're young, which isn't either good or bad. It just means that with kids and responsibilities, I need to plan and budget.
Yep.
And so I did, and I did it with my wife, and I said, you need to carry us here for a while because I'm not going to be, which she didn't flinch. She just said, you just go and do it. But yeah, so I did a budget, and people will tell you it takes a long time to get paid, but until you actually go through it and you go sort of the months tick by and you go, I haven't been paid. But do you know what I liken it to? And it was a picture in my mind, and it still was for a long time. And I talk to people about it. It's like a big water pump, that go, the old ones where you pump it, and it goes right down and finds it goes right down, however far you don't know, and it tries to find water.
Yeah,
and then you're pumping madly.
Yeah,
and then the water's coming up, and that's all the work. So you're pumping and that's all the work you're doing. But and it's doing something, but you're not sure how long it's going to be until the water, which is in this poor metaphor, the water is money and clients coming up. And I'm sure, because there's a reasonably high attrition rate, right, as brokers, I'm sure that a lot of brokers are just about to break through, and all the work they've done is about to, and they've had to stop for financial reasons or whatever else. But if you just keep going, it will, as long as the activity, as long as you're still being really active in what you're doing, still pumping, it will come, but you don't actually know where it is, how far up the water level is.
Yeah.
So that's a visual that's been in my head for a long time.
Yeah, and I think this is, again, something that a lot of aggregators are aware of. Some of them will also, I think, offer support for brokers if they are finding that they're actually, I just need a loan for a little bit to keep me going until my first paycheck comes through, until my first commission run comes through. Because they're I've got especially when rates were going up, people suddenly are things suddenly got a lot more expensive very quickly.
That's right.
So I think, really interesting to see that, and just to be mindful of if you are thinking about coming into the industry, just making sure you've got those 6 months of savings behind you.
And
or some way of supporting yourself. Yeah,
definitely. And I've spoken to a lot of brokers who are coming into, and if people want to, I'll share all my financials and what I've
the budget,
the budget, anything. I mean, people were really generous to me when I came in the industry with opening up the curtains to their business, and it's the only true way that you can get a good guide on it. And look, our aggregator, so Mortgage Choice, look after new brokers in terms of commissions in the first few years as well.
Yeah.
So they realise that you need momentum. So there's help.
There's help. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, I'd like to talk to you about how you actually do what you do. Like, what is the practical side of writing a loan, getting it converted, and making sure you're keeping pumping to get that business through, to get that water flowing. And we'll get into that just after this message. So, Richard, you were talking there about the fact that you've got lots of people that you're able to lean on the network, and whether from your own aggregator or more broadly. And I wonder what your experience was like in terms of actually finding a mentor, because it's a requirement for brokers, particularly if you're new to industry, to have a mentor for the first 2 years. How did you go about choosing one, and what did that look like?
So the benefit of Mortgage Choice is that we're provided with one. So I didn't need to go out and specifically find one. So I have a mentor at Mortgage Choice. The other thing is that whilst there is one person, I actually have a whole network within Mortgage Choice. So I've got a different credit coach who I can use as well. I've got the team in marketing who are amazing, who I can speak to and devise marketing campaigns that I need to. So, and I actually also use the broking network for mentors. So I know there's an official mentor for your first couple of years.
Yeah.
Which I'll probably actually sign off on. I think I'm coming up to
yeah.
2
Oh.
years. So,
Milestone.
So yeah. So I feel lucky I've probably got half a dozen people that I actually call my mentors.
So your official mentor, what exactly is that relationship? Like, what do they do?
They'll answer, well, it's basically anything. So I know that sometimes it will be a set time once a month or once every 2 months. However, my mentor I can talk to at any time. And often they will point me in the right direction. So they'll have some solutions about how to approach a different client or a scenario. But often they will point me in the right direction of where I can get the answers as well.
Yeah.
So I think as a new broker, don't ever be afraid to ask a question, because people, they want to help.
Yeah.
People want to help you. So don't be afraid. I think if you suffer in silence, then you might fall into a bit of a trap.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a fairly casual relationship, but it's it's good.
It's a good one. I think this is also something that's so important if you do decide that you're going to be on your own, as you have, not setting up with somebody else under somebody else, or not hiring immediately 3 staff, which for a new broker would be a big undertaking.
Yeah,
but if you're on your own, you also kind of need that community, I think. Like, you need other people to talk to, because you don't know what you don't know.
Definitely. And that you need to, as a sole practitioner, as a sole broker, you need to have people around you. Like, there's no, just to stop you going insane if nothing else.
Yeah.
Particularly if people are coming from, like I came from a big corporate companies, I'm used to a buzzing around me.
Yeah.
So even just for your own sanity,
Yeah.
I think it helps. Yeah.
Having people around you. And so when you actually then, you kind of, coming up to 2 years, if you think about what that career progression has been like, has your process changed along the way? Like, did you start off thinking, this is how I'm going to be a broker, this is what I'm going to do, and then the practicalities of it maybe change your system? Or what does that sort of evolution look like in your first couple of years?
Yeah, it is an evolution. And even my processes. So, like, it started on a whiteboard. Like, you might have seen my whiteboard
on LinkedIn. Yeah, I have.
So on the back, you probably don't want to see what's actually on the back of it, on the other side of it. But my processes started on the whiteboard, and it just progressed over the months to me defining all the steps that had to happen. We have a CRM. We have a CRM and a platform, so a broking platform. And there's really good guides on how to do it through there. And so that's a guide, but I tried to work something for myself.
Yep.
I think I wrote my first 3 loans by myself, in terms of from the very start to the very end. And then I've soon worked out I didn't enjoy the administration of that. Mm-hmm. My time was a lot better off spent elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'm trying to grow the business. So I outsourced from very, very early.
From file 4.
From file 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, it might not be practical for some people. It's a reasonably expensive way to do it. But I just felt as though the cost benefit of getting that support early. I needed every client to have an amazing experience and to go and tell their family and friends. And the best way to do that was to get the best people doing the right things. So my process, a lot of the back end has been outsourced for a while.
How did you decide to do that? Did you go to your aggregator and say, I need some support? Is it internal? Did you go and find someone external? Did you hire someone within the community, within the network to actually do it? Like who is doing it and how did you find them?
Yeah. So I found them through other mortgage choice brokers.
Yeah.
So it's a service that they've been using, and it's per file. So it's I know there's lots of different ways that you can outsource, whether it's onshore or offshore. Per file might be per file onshore might be one of the more expensive ways of outsourcing, but for my business and what I wanted to do, it was the right thing. So yeah, through the mortgage choice broker network, I found them, and they've been great.
How much time do you reckon that saved you?
Like hours. Like, but it also wasn't the time. It was also me waking up in the morning and not thinking, I've got to put all this through AOL today, and I'm going to get all these red crosses, and I'm going to get frustrated at the screen. Yeah. So it literally, like, it's hours and hours, but it was also the headspace. Like, it put me in a much better headspace when I could concentrate on growing the business. Yeah. And not doing something that I'm not awesome at. Yeah.
And in terms of actually then generating new leads, and we've mentioned as well already your LinkedIn socials, and the judges, I think, called that out as well in your submission, being like doing a lot of financial literacy support. And I've actually watched them as well. You come up on my feed a lot.
Like
one
spam.
of the ones, not like spam. I mean, it's really good. I always actually watch them and go, oh, I didn't know that. But one of the ones I really enjoyed was when there was that phase of everyone doing like the AI dolls of themselves, and you did a human version of that. I was like, this is so good. Like the effort involved, where you're like lying on the floor and you've taken a picture from like the ceiling, it looks like, with like all of your stuff over your doll. I thought that was so good.
Yeah.
And I love the message as well, which was in it, which is about like, you can't kind of replicate everything, and sometimes you just need a human to do it. And I was like, it's brilliant messaging, great marketing. But of course you're whiteboarding as well, and you're talking to potential and future clients and to existing clients about what it is that they're doing in their loan process. How do you come up with those ideas?
Customer questions. So if there's repeated customer questions, then I know that there's a need to know the answer to that. Media, like in terms of industry media. So news will hit, and I'll try and get that out to clients so that they don't have to feel as though they have to scour TikTok, social media, or whatever.
The advisor,
or the advisor.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the advisor is targeted towards the consumer. But it often is. It's those the alerts that I get. So it's customer questions. Repeated customer questions in particular, and new things, like making sure that I get the new first home guarantee dates right. Dates right. But it is customer questions, and it's also things that I just think that it's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I just think if it's interesting to me, then somebody else might get value out of it as well.
100%. We did this year at the Australian Broking Awards, we did a broking quiz. And one of the questions was, what date does the home guarantee scheme now start? Because it's obviously been brought forward. Do you think you'll have a lot of take up of that? Are your clients interested in using the guarantee scheme?
Definitely. Like, I actually think it's going to kick the market along, particularly up to the 1.5, well, in Sydney, 1.5 million.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Like it already is. And clients are already
super excited.
So super excited. And even if they don't, so I've got investors looking in that market as in that price bracket, they won't get the advantage of the first home guarantee, but they know that they're now going to be competing against others who have higher salaries because there's no cap on the home guarantee in that segment of the market. So it is like it's been rate cuts over the last few months, coming into spring, and then the first home guarantee. Like, it has really moved things along.
What a time to be a broker.
What a time.
Yeah. And this is a really interesting point about the investor versus owner-occupier. And a lot of the concerns now are being like, well, what is this going to do to house prices? Because everyone's flooding into market and wanting to buy. And suddenly they're all competing against each other. And we've seen investor lending skyrocketing the last year as investors move typically much faster than owner-occupiers do. So seeing now the second wave of lending coming through, expecting a lot of first-home buyer activity, uncapped not means tested, and uncapped places as well. It was previously only 50,000 across all the guarantee schemes, 50,000 places. Now it's as many as you like.
That's right.
So lenders are going to be busy and brokers are going to be busy.
Yeah, it's great. And I think today I saw all the new forecasts from AMP and the major banks.
House prices.
The house prices for next year.
Yeah.
And they all revised. One might have revised down, but the others all revised up.
Yeah.
So I think between 6 and 10%, or 7 and 10%.
10.
Yep. I can't remember now, but there was up to 10% growth in 2026.
Yeah, I think I've seen 3 of the majors, and they also between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Oh, for 2026. Sorry, that's for 2025.
Yeah, no, for next year.
Yeah. Well, goodness.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you better get a market soon and start talking to your broker. But when you look at then, I guess the way that you're preparing for that, because obviously that is good news for so many home buyers. It's great news for brokers who can help them. We know that 3/4 of the market use a broker to get a mortgage, but it means that come, let's say January 2026, we're going to have so many loans settling. Are you preparing for like a crazy time where you've got, let's say 6 settlements on the same day, you're having to juggle all of this work kind of coming to a head following the 1st of October opening?
As a new broker, Annie, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
That's the problem that when you start broking, that's the problem that you want. And I mentioned when I started, I was building, and then I knew that there was going to be a time that a lot of loans settled at the same time, and that's when I had to outsource quickly because I think I had 5 loans settling, so I could see that coming down, and so that's when I got the outsource processing set up.
Yeah.
The advantage of that is that I can scale pretty quickly. If I'm going to get 10 settlements in January and February,
and you've all got to make sure their funds are in that account. Yeah,
that's right. I feel really comfortable, and I think that's what. And you listen to a lot of experienced brokers, and they always say hire before you need it.
Yeah,
but that's a really scary thing. Like particularly, you're paying people before you are.
Yeah,
and it's it's not to be. I don't think it can be said flippantly, because it's actual real money coming out of your account, sometimes savings account, before you're getting paid. But yeah, I'm ready, willing, and able for a big influx
for a big year
for next year.
Well, this is sort of one of the things that I was going to talk about, because when you first start, a lot of brokers are kind of like, I'm hungry and I'm learning everything and I'm getting across policy, but because I'm not yet having settled a loan, I've not yet been paid, I'm still sort of working on my process. And I'm like, that's actually the perfect time to be doing it, because once you start getting those loans settled and once you start getting repeat business, you will not have time to do the business planning in the same sort of focus as you could have done when you first started. So I always think when brokers, like on the Elite Broker podcast, say, I wish I'd hired earlier, I wish I'd outsourced earlier, they're basically like, I would have been a lot more effective and I could have grown my business faster.
Yeah. But you don't know that until you are an elite broker, and then you look back at it. But if you had a time machine, yes.
So when you go into the fact that you haven't got a franchise storefront, you're kind of out and about in the community, how do you meet your clients? Do you kind of hire an office space? Do you go and see them at their home? Do you go to a WeWork? Do you not meet them face to face? Do you do it all via Zoom? How do you actually engage with your clientele?
I try and see them face to face. I know that there's a lot of, I wasn't broking during COVID.
Yeah.
However, I know that changed a lot of things in the industry, and one of the things that the brokers talk about is that they used to see everyone face to face pre-2020. And then post, it was almost no one. But I try to. Again, if people are in my network, I know them anyway. And
you're on the bike next to them.
Yeah. But it will be, I'll go to their place. We'll meet at cafes. We'll meet out. We'll meet at their workplace. And there's a lot of Zoom. There's a lot of Zoom as well.
So you just sort of give them the option saying wherever you want, and then you go to them.
Yeah. And it's a reasonable point too, because that's a question that a lot of other new brokers will ask. They get nervous that they need somewhere for people to come in, but they don't. Very few clients, in my experience, actually want to come into an office.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time as well, because people are using a broker because it's convenient. It's
That's
sort of
true.
like, if it can be more convenient for you to go to them, they'll probably expect that. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And I think the world is pretty comfortable with Zoom.
Yeah.
I just think I get a lot of energy from people. So I actually enjoy sitting across the table and working with people, and particularly if I haven't met them before.
Yeah. 100%. So when you think about how you actually manage everything that you're doing, I mean, you've got, like, as you said, you've outsourced some of the administrative work. You mentioned your wife already. Is she working alongside you?
Lisa,
is she not in the business?
No, she's not in the business.
Yeah.
She had to earn money while I was getting the business
That's
up
true.
and running.
You did say that. Yeah.
So she's not. I would love for her to be part of the business at some point. I've got a couple of kids. Archie's just finishing he's doing his HSC at the moment. Ruby's 16, and you know she's full of energy and life and partying at the moment.
Yep.
But they've all got I would never force any of them to do anything that they didn't want to. But geez, I'd love to build a business where my family could work in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprising amount of mortgage choice brokerages actually are family businesses. Surprising amount.
Yeah, but also, like, I think it's coming to the time where broking has been around for 20, 25 years. So the first generation of brokers, I mean, you have a look at, say, Patrick Johnson, who was another, he's done amazing things in his first year as a business owner. So his parents, Maureen and Peter, set up a really good brokerage.
Yep.
And he's recently bought that and carrying on up in the mountains. You might know Con as the bearded broker. He does a lot on TikTok. So he's working with his dad, George, and he'll take that business. There's a couple of really big ones in Melbourne. Where some brothers have taken over as well.
Yep.
So it is, look, and the kids, I would love it to be able to work and spend time with my kids, but they will live their own life and make their own choices. I just hope that
you hope, fingers crossed, they'll come back and work with you guys. Just before I sort of stop on the operational side of broking, is there anything that you kind of use that really helps make your life easier as a broker, whether that's technology or an outsource provider or an education platform? Is there anything that you sort of think, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have this?
Outsourcing, definitely. Like, I know what I would. I'd go insane and I'd be working 24 hours a day. Like, that's in terms of peace of mind and the way that I can do my parts of the business really well. Like, that's almost a non-negotiable for me at the moment. Look, we've got a really good CRM, HubSpot. I've used it in other corporates before. Mm-hmm. And one thing it does allow is, I think you might have had Trailblazer on recently.
Yeah, I
as
did.
well.
On the In Focus podcast. Thank you, Simon Lewis. You can go listen to that.
But one of the things that he said that has been in my mind, well, it's been in my mind for a lot longer, but he reinforced it, is that you set your business up like it's ready for sale all the time. Like, not when you want to get ready to sell. And by doing that, like, you've got your back end in really good shape.
Yeah.
But like, there's so many things that I use in terms of resources. A lot of it's provided from the aggregator. But outsourcing in terms of time is a big one.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here, Richard. When we come back, I'd like to talk to you about what's next for you. Where do you hope to take the business in maybe your next 2, 5, 10 years? And also sort of what have been your biggest challenges and what have been your biggest wins as a broker? And we'll get into that just after this message. So, Richard, you've already mentioned about, the pipe dream of one day having all your family with you, in the brokerage with you. But what is actually on your shorter term horizons? Like, let's say for the rest of 2025, or no, let's go FY26. For FY26, do you have any ambitions or targets that you're hoping to achieve?
Yeah, so I've just finished my first full financial year, which was just finished in
Awesome.
25. Yep.
You can now start submitting for awards.
So my goal financially is to... the number is almost to double what I did in my first 12 months, which will be it'll be a good year and a big year, but that's my target, is to double. I have targets around referral partnerships. Mm-hmm. That's a big one, because one of the things that you find as a new broker is your it's really lumpy, your deals. So 1, 2, 3 really good referral partners can actually iron out the pipeline.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of my goals around what I'm doing with referral partners.
In terms of like getting new ones on board, or like maybe cementing. Do you have any currently?
Yeah, I do. And it's probably and look, it's still a relatively new business, but I know that will organically grow, but I do want to supercharge some of those. They're mainly from real estates and accountants.
Yeah.
So double my settlements.
Is that in terms of dollar value or number?
Dollar. Yeah,
okay.
dollar value.
Do you mind telling me what that is?
Yeah. So FY25, so it was just under 20 million. Yeah.
Great.
Annie, ask me any questions that you like.
Oh,
okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So I was like, do you mind me telling you?
Yeah.
But I think also the reason why I sort of hesitate is because dollar value is so hard to compare across the country. So
Exactly
people
right.
in, regional SA are like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So it was, so my average loan is about 700,000.
okay.
And I think I settled 19 million. So it's just under 30 loans.
Yeah. Okay. That's really strong for your
So-
first FY. That's really strong. So
Yeah,
you're hoping to do 40
thank you.
in FY26.
Yeah. I
Fantastic.
think that'll be a stretch. But one thing I've learned is that one conversation, one meeting, and one client can change the trajectory of your business. Like it really can.
Yeah.
And you just got to put yourself in that situation to have that meeting, conversation, or client. And really, you get a couple of really good commercial deals in there, and that can change your numbers pretty quickly.
Yeah. So when you say that's actually an interesting point, commercial, are you talking commercial property?
Yeah.
Are you talking business loans?
Yeah, commercial property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is something that's, again, we're just doing our SME boot camp in September, and towards the end of the year, we're looking at commercial in our commercial supplement. And I think something that we talk about a lot is a lot of resi brokers being like, I might do commercial property, but I'm not going to do the business cash flow loans, or I'm not going to do any of the really big developments. What kind of things are you doing when you say commercial? Is it like a warehouse, or is it buying an office? Is it just someone who wants to buy an office with SMSF? What does that look like?
Yeah, I don't know is the answer. and I haven't been doing commercial. So I've been doing resi, and I've actually been not purposefully staying away from asset and cars and caravans because of, but I've been concentrating on residential. So I haven't been writing any commercial.
But when you want to,
But
if you kind of have the opportunity.
I think I would.
Yeah.
I've got quite a number of self-employed clients, and buying commercial inside their SMSF is definitely on the horizon. I'm not specifically chasing it.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the resi side, but I can see down the track that that might happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the one thing you do when you see some really big numbers from brokers, often you see that there's multi-million dollar commercial deals in there.
Yeah, I think that's often, and that's something actually that's a really good point to call out as well, is that a lot of brokers who do have diversified brokerages, they might have like 300 residential loans that they've written that year, and they'll have a big support team behind them to do that, but they'll also have probably done one very large commercial deal as well. Yeah, like I actually talked to a commercial broker the other day, and he settled a deal that was over $1 billion. That's a bit like one deal. Yeah,
Right.
that's a bit like, what was that, like a coal mine? Like what was that? Like that's huge.
Did he tell you?
It was mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it mine?
Yeah. I was a bit like, wow, how do you get those clients? Like,
Right.
huge. But I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you can retire now. Like that's, yeah.
And I've no idea who that was, but I dare
not
say
going to tell you.
that's no, and I wouldn't ask, but I dare say that that's one deal, but he's been working for many years.
For 3 years on that specific deal, and for 10 years with that client.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So it's never as easy as what it can sound like. But one thing that I do want to say around the numbers as well is that is to not compare. And it's really hard to not compare yourself, because when you're a new broker, if you see on social media and LinkedIn, like you'll see brokers who are saying in their first year they've done $50, $100 million, and it's really hard. Like everybody comes into broking from a different angle.
Yeah.
And it can actually be to your detriment, I think, if you try and compare to because there are people doing huge numbers, but they've come from a different background than somebody who might have come from out of industry. So
And
I
they
think
might be, based in Point Piper.
Yeah.
Doing loans for millionaires.
Yeah. So it's one thing that's really hard not to do.
Yeah.
But to try not to compare yourself against anyone or any other numbers.
Yeah. Just stay in your own game. Yeah.
Well, yes.
You made a good point earlier as well about, I think, talking to people, because you never know what that could do to your business. And I think that's also true, though, for people who might not actually be ready to transact with you, making sure that they have a good experience of talking to you, because if it's a bad one, they will also tell people that. So make sure it's a good experience, no matter who the client is, for every single one. Go ahead.
Sorry, Annie.
No.
I was going to say, so you do speak to a lot of people who actually don't become your clients.
Yeah.
There's a lot. but they're also very thankful for what you've done. And one of the things that I've tried to do is just ask for a Google review. So there's things that even if they don't become a client and transact, and they're more than happy to, they'll provide a good Google review, and it's that helps your business.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Great tip. When it comes to as well, I guess, looking at building the business further out. So that was your FY26 plans. What are your broader plans? Like, what do you expect to change the way that you're, working? Do you expect one day to have a shop? Do you think you'll kind of bring in staff? Like, what are your longer term plans for Mortgage Choice, Epping?
Yeah.
North Epping and Beecroft. I had to double check which suburbs you're in there. Yeah.
So I've got the plans are going to evolve. I'm sure they're going to evolve. At the moment, I'm a sole broker and I've got outsourcing. I would like to be a sole supported broker for a couple of years. Like, there's no question. I love knowing every single one of my clients. I know their partner. I know their families. I really enjoy the way that the business is set up. One thing that I'd like to do and to grow into is having other aligned financial services or ancillary businesses, like having a buyer's agency that's aligned or partnered with, accountants, financial planners. I think there's a real opportunity, and nothing would supercharge a business than having the right business partners or the right growth around those ancillary businesses. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look, I can see me in an office, within a couple of years and a number of staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to come back in a few years' time and see where you are on the journey. When we think then, I mean, it's always hard with new brokers because you're still so new, but when you think about your first couple of years in broking, can you tell me maybe your biggest highlight and your biggest challenge?
Last Friday was pretty good.
Yeah,
At
the Broking Awards.
Yeah. It was
good.
like it is, and I know, like, those awards were like, it was a great day and a great night, and how much importance you place on awards. It actually felt it was really good, and it was just recognition for my family, my clients who supported me when the business was new. Like, it gives them confidence. I like to think that it actually gives them confidence that they've backed me and I'm doing okay, and my family, that I've made the right choice, that I didn't leave corporate life and have made any wrong decisions. It was actually really good recognition, and Mortgage Choice as well. Like, and I've said to a number of the guys at Mortgage Choice that I hope they feel as though this is a big part of them for helping me to get here.
That's lovely.
But there's no question, like, my clients, getting them into properties, getting their first property, whether that's a home or an investment, I'm still blown away. I still feel incredibly lucky to work with the clients that I've got, to do what I do. The clients, they're not out of pocket. I'm saving them money. It's like, what a great business. Like, I still feel incredibly lucky to be in this industry doing what I'm doing.
I love your optimism, Richard. If there's anything then, if I could make you pessimistic for a second and just ask you your biggest challenge, what's been, we'll come back up again at the end, don't worry. What's been your biggest hard obstacle to overcome over your first couple of years in broking?
So lead flow at the start, like, that's as a brand new broker, I feel like it is getting the leads. Like, that's going to be the case, and you work as hard as you can from as early as you can to get to a point. But that's hard, and I consider myself a very positive person, but it can test you at times. So make sure your family is along for the ride, and you tell, they know. Because they see you at the best of times and every other time as well.
I think that is a really important one, making sure that your family are backing you when you go from being employed to a self-employed person, because suddenly you don't have that safety net. You can't be like, oh, my boss is being really unreasonable when you're the boss, like, you can't take a holiday necessarily. You've got to keep working through. So, really, really difficult kind of navigating that and making it really important to have your family behind you. Is there anything in the industry that you found really difficult? Like, anything that surprised you?
it's really good coming into the industry from somewhere else, and you just look at it differently to other brokers or other people who've been there for a long time, I think, just with a fresh set of eyes. But keeping on the theme of new brokers, one thing that, like, you've got the deck stacked against you a bit as a new broker, right? You don't have the momentum, you don't have the money coming in. One thing with lenders is that they a number of them will have different levels of support for different brokers, and it depends where you are. And like, I get the commercial realities. A number of the lenders will have different tiers depending upon the volume that you write. And so coming into the industry, you're not writing volume, you're low. So you don't get the same level of support, the turnaround time. So you're given a disadvantage, and your clients are actually at a bit of a disadvantage. So it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy that the top tier guys continue to get the service. And I don't know what the answer is, because I get it. It's just more time, resources and people from the lender side, and you can't have that level of support for everyone. And one thing that I think of is that NAB are obviously a great supporter of the awards, and the broker, the bank behind the broker. I wonder if there's an opportunity for, it might even be a second tier bank, to be the bank behind the new broker, where they are leading in education there. I don't know, but I just wonder whether there's an opportunity for something to happen. Because, yeah, that's one thing that you find, is that you're really reliant on BDMs and the support from the banks.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm sure there's many people listening to this and lenders now being like, we can do that. We can do that. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. And that's, a really good point about the different levels of service depending on volume. And as you say, you kind of need more help when you're starting out. So it's not really fair that you're having to wait 5 days before your file gets picked up.
But I also understand from a bank that they don't always have the new brokers who are the quality of submission is lower, no doubt. Yeah. So I get the commercial realities.
Yeah, of course. When it comes to, you mentioned as well about it being tough and kind of, challenging and kind of sometimes lonely as well if you're on your own. I wonder how you mitigate that, because also it's stressful, being a broker. As much as there's highs and you get to see these amazing opportunities and life-changing moments for your clients, it can be really difficult. How do you manage to stay positive and to keep, getting up and wanting to do the job? Like, do you do anything for yourself mentally or physically, or anything that you tell yourself? Do you have any mantras? What's your process for staying well?
Daily journaling, meditation, ice baths and saunas. I haven't tried any of those. I feel like that's the answer. But no, I don't. I feel extremely lucky. Like, I've got a great family, great support, great friends. I truly think, and this is easy to say, I truly think that trying to be balanced the whole time and not letting yourself get to a stressful place is the best answer. Look, I'm exercising just about every day. I'm up super early. I'm exercising before most people sort of get out of bed. That's a really big part of me, because I do a lot of that in cycling with other people. So it's good physically, mentally, and socially. Like, I'm getting that before breakfast, and it's really good. Sort of keeps me on the level. I've got a great family. We love to do. The kids are into sport. We do a lot of traipsing around and following them and watching sport, which we love. We all love skiing, so we'll try and get away to ski together.
Lovely.
It's just a balanced life, I think. Like, and I don't want to profess to know the answer to that, because you do get stressed, and I know that it affects some people a lot. So I certainly don't want to downplay that. But I think for myself, the key is to try to maintain balance the whole time. That even when things get hectic, you still do those little things that you need to.
Love that.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up with a bow, Richard, and say, if you were going to give some advice to a new broker, if one of the brokers listening today is struggling a little bit or thinking, I just need some help, or if you could have given yourself advice when you first started, what would you say?
So if they haven't already started into broking, I would just say go and talk to everyone. Everybody that you can find, whether they're a lender, an aggregator, a current broker, like, go and speak to them. You will find that everybody is so open, and it's a real collegiate atmosphere. So people will give you the answers, and they'll give you the time of the day. keep working hard. Early on, you won't see the benefits of it for a long time, but it will come. There's a real momentum and consistency that you'll get there. Listen, I'm giving this advice, but I'm still trying to do this myself as well. In terms of advice for myself, like I feel really lucky that I had my eyes wide open when I came in, and you still need to, the challenges, but actually living through the challenges can be tough. So be prepared. Do your budgeting. You want to have the runway that you need. Just make sure that you've got that sorted out before you go into it. But one of the big things is speak to a lot of people, because you will get help in any facet that you need to.
Awesome. Richard Brown, New Broker of the Year 2025, Australia's best new broker. Thank you so much for sharing your story and advice here on the New Broker podcast. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Annie. It's been a pleasure.
If you've got any questions for me or for Richard, then do feel free to reach out. You can reach me at editor@theadvisor.com.au. Of course, Richard Brown, the principal and broker at Mortgage Choice, Epping, North Epping and Beecroft here in New South Wales. And if you've got any other questions about what you want to be doing and how you're going to be building your brokerage, then maybe take a listen back to previous episodes on the Advisor Podcast Network, including the Elite Broker, New Broker, Women in Finance, In Focus, and What's Making Headlines podcasts. They're all there. And we hope to see you soon at one of our events, either at the New Broker Academy, which will be coming up again next year, or SME Bootcamp in September, the Commercial Finance Awards in November, and Better Business coming up early 2026. We'll catch you next time for another episode on the Advisor Podcast Network.